No doubt about it. I know this. I know they got all the time. Everybody else, I'm sorry. I know this. They got all the time in the world to gang up on the residents, but businesses. Nothing.
Okay, Councilman Shaw.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7:02 p.m. and I am calling the Highland Park City Council in-person and virtual regular meeting to order for Monday, July 17th at 7 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi. Councilwoman Martin.
Here.
Councilwoman Manica. Here. Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Here.
Council President Thomas.
Here. As we move into the approval of the agenda, all members of council should have received a notification from Carl. I don't know what we would do without you, Carl, that there is a resolution related to protecting the healthcare benefits of our retirees. All of you have had an opportunity to look at this resolution. This is extremely important to protecting those people who have served the city. At this point, if there are members of council who would like to take action on walking this on, the floor is open to you before we even discuss the approval of the agenda. Floor is open to council.
Good afternoon.
Yes, madam, if you would.
I move to walk on the resolution to approve the corrective action plan for the Highland Park retiree healthcare plan in accordance with Public Act 202 of 2017.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman
Support
Manica,
with discussion.
to approve the corrective action plan for the Highland Park retiree healthcare OPEB plan in accordance with Public Act 202 of 2017. We have support from Mr. Al-Shafi with questions. Well, it has to, Mr. Al-Shafi, it has to be added before we can.
Right.
So it has to be walked on, and at that time we can deliberate it. So are you
Support.
we have support from Mr. Al-Shafi. So if we could take the roll to get this item included on the agenda.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, madam, if we could have this come on as item 5.
5B.
5B, so 5A would be the submission of the monthly statement and 5B would be the resolution. At this point, we have amended the agenda. And so I would turn the floor over to council for the approval of the amended agenda.
I move to approve the amended agenda, adding the resolution to approve the corrective action plan for the Highland Park Retiree Healthcare OPEB plan in accordance with Public Act 202 of 2017 to item 5, making it item 5B, and the submission of monthly financial statement, June 2023, 5A.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor to amend the agenda and move that item, this resolution to approve the corrective action plan for the Highland Park Retiree Healthcare plan to item 5B. This is the approval of the agenda with these changes. Do we have support?
Support.
We have support from Mr. Al-Shafi. Could you please call the roll for the approval of the agenda, madam?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, thank you very much. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the proposed minutes for the in-person and virtual regular meeting for July 3rd, 2023. Council, the floor is open.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
before we continue, I am getting dozens of calls, text messages about the people cannot see this meeting on Zoom. I'm
You're
getting
receiving
dozens
those
of-
calls right now?
Yeah, yeah, right now. Yeah, they're saying they can't see nothing.
Now, the Zoom feature, it is an application. It did crash.
It was down last time. Yeah,
So it's not, may I speak?
Please.
So we sent out a notice about a month ago that we were switching to YouTube. So it's no longer on Facebook Live. It's now on YouTube. And there is a link to the video on our Facebook page.
is there
Okay,
a reason
so-
why we made that switch? Because Zoom was so much easier for the seniors.
No, we're still using Zoom. Zoom is still up, but as far as viewing it, is YouTube. And so the reason that we made that switch is that you do not have to create an account to view it on YouTube as you do on Facebook, and to be in compliance with the Open Records Act.
It's still streaming right now. I'm connected to the Zoom meeting, so the Zoom meeting is still up for the city and all the participants.
Correct.
So we're
It's-
also,
it's
this is
streaming
just
to
a
YouTube.
broadcasting platform. So this is the
Correct.
way that it's as to the public. So anybody can just click on, any person anywhere can click on the link and they can get access to it, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Did I answer your question, sir?
Not really, but I'm fine, Council
Okay.
President. Please continue.
So we were at, right now, the floor was open for the approval of the minutes for the July 3rd, 2023 meeting. The floor is open to council. Do we have a motion on the floor to dispose of these minutes?
I move to approve the minutes for July 3rd, 2023 meeting, in person and virtual.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to approve the minutes from our July 3rd meeting. Do we have support?
I support.
We have support from Councilwoman Pro Tem. Madam Deputy Clerk, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we're at the portion of our meeting that we dedicate to allowing the mayor to have the floor if there's any important action items that the citizens need to be made aware of. Madam Mayor, if you would please join us at the podium.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening.
I'm not gonna stand in front of you back with my back turned to you, so I'll stand over here so I don't have my back turned. First, I just wanna thank you all for coming out tonight. Also, I wanna thank all of the people that came out to this week's coffee and conversation at Dunkin' Donuts. We had a great turnout. Great turnout. More and more people are coming each week, each month rather. And so just so you know, it is the very second Wednesday of every month at Dunkin' Donuts. We have a 10 a.m., and we have a 5 p.m. So if you're working, you can come to the 5 p.m. Now, it did rain a lot at the 5 p.m. So, but at the morning one, we had a great turnout. We had also our, some of our business owners come and talk to the citizens at the Dunkin' Donuts that day. So we'll continue that process. Also, if you are a vet, we had our Veterans Affairs workshop just this past Wednesday. No, I'm sorry, it was Friday. This past Friday, we had an awesome time. We had Wayne County, we had the state, and we had the federal government. So if you're in need of information about your veterans, benefits, we have some brochures that they gave us, so you can know who to call in the county, you know who to call in the state, and you know who to call through the federal government. You go through Sri Tanadar, who is our congressman for the 13th congressional district, and he would move that to the Veterans Affairs in the United States government. Also, we are working, and I wanna specify this because I want people to understand. We are working diligently in this city. I send out a text message every Friday to make sure that my DPW director knows that these are the areas, he knows what the areas are, and these are the areas that I've been getting calls to. So please understand, we have 4 seasonal workers. We do have seasonal workers. We have 6 regular employees, and now we have 3 summer employees. They're only allowed to pick up the trash. They're not allowed to use the equipment for liability purposes, but they're out there and they're helping. And we're doing the best that we can with it. When we first came in, most of the equipment was broke, so we had to have those repaired. Our season starts May, not April, it's May. And usually cutting ends in October if the weather permits. And then that's when the snow removal, if it's snowing, starts. So that's just general information so you guys know. This is when these things start. There was people who had issues with GFL. I understand that there has been a situation where they have not picked up trash in the community. There's some people who are sitting trash not in front of their home, this is another situation, but in front of homes that's not there, and they're not gonna pick it up. There's people who have put their trash in front of their home. So after reading over the contract, they are not to pick up trash over a certain amount, and it does say they cannot pick up trash in front of if it's over that amount. So, just so you all know, when you're setting out trash in front of your house, and it must be in front of your house, not on the corner, not down the street, it must be in front of your house. And it's not bagged, or it's not wrapped. Mattresses must be wrapped. If that's happening, they're gonna leave. Because of the contamination, bed bug infestation, they will not pick up mattresses that are not wrapped. Now, there has been some who did it, you know, because you went out and helped, or they said, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. But these are the things that's going on. I am waiting for some new pamphlets to come out so they can give us some more, so we can get those out to the neighborhoods, to your block club presidents. And if you don't have a block club president, we're gonna come and try to get them to whoever we can and ask them, can you pass these out? That way you have all of the information that you need. If you're having problems with an area such as if there's a sinkhole, and I know there's a lot of sinkholes, we reported those, but know that it don't happen overnight. Sinkholes is different than potholes. They require engineers, they require other things that has to happen. So just so you know that, we're not ignoring you. We're just trying to get everything done in the order that we receive them. And trust me, since January, we've received a lot of things going on. So just bear with us. I appreciate you. We're gonna continue, and if you wanna call, number, write this down. If you have a pen, you can send the information to info, INFO, at highlandparkmi.gov. And we will receive that. Someone will be watching that email, and they'll get it to me. I return calls when I get. Right now, again, my administrative assistant is out. She's broke her arm, so she's been out. So our calls are being rerouted, and I know people are saying, "Oh, I called, but it went to the human resource." But that's where they're being rerouted to. She's taking down the messages and she's relaying them to me. So please, Mike. But please don't overcry, just call and say, hey, please make it something that's important, and so that we can get to it immediately. And I appreciate every last one of you for being patient. We're 6 months in, and it's gonna take another 6 months until we can get to the end of this year. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Okay, so the next portion is citizens' participation on agenda items. And if the folks have had an opportunity to see the agenda, a lot of tonight's agenda is about property owners purchasing the residential adjacent lot, or property owners purchasing residential vacant property adjacent to their, some of these might even be commercial structures as we look at them. So if there are individuals who would like to come up and address City Council during this portion, it is related specifically to the items on the agenda. That will be item 5 is under the Finance Department. That's the submission of the monthly financial statement and this resolution related to protecting our retirees' healthcare benefits. The other items are all related specifically to property. So if there's anyone that wanted to have a conversation about property items or something on the agenda, now is an opportunity. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Good evening. She was just, the mayor was just saying about GFL not picking up trash. But if you own the adjacent lots next to your house, you're paying property tax. Seemingly they should be able to pick up the garbage there.
I think that's,
But do you need to put a sign there and say, I own this lot as well? I mean, it's legitimate.
that I don't think it would hurt.
I don't either. Because why are you gonna sit the garbage on your grass or in front of your house when you got a lot next door? Right?
Is it a fenced or unfenced lot?
Unfenced.
Yeah, I don't see how I don't know if it's possible for them to know whether or not that would be yours without a sign.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
put a sign there, but maybe that's something that could be put in the contract with GFL. Right? Another question. Oh, this may be, it may not. Like, is there an ordinance that says like no through traffic for heavy trucks? Because they're tearing up the roads that's already been
That might be
repaired.
something for at the end of the meeting, Ms. Ryder.
Okay.
Right now, it's just for agenda items. We don't have that on the agenda, and I want to make sure that it comes in the appropriate place. It's not a
Okay,
bad idea.
all right. And adjacent lots, if you got several on one side, can you get those several lots that's adjacent to adjacent to adjacent?
I think that would probably be a question best asked of the Community and Economic Development Department, as they prepared this package for us with all the individual properties. So
Okay.
I think based on the ordinance, it is the adjacent property owner. So if that's you,
Okay, thank you.
thank you so much, ma'am. Do we have anyone else that would like to address City Council on items related to the agenda? Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
Hi, Rosalind Martin,
How are you, Ms. Martin?
Downs Matter. Yeah, I see all these lots. When they do these lots, does it have anything to do with the city planning? Or is this just,
If I'm not mistaken, I would be happy to get help if I need additional help. This particular process of selling property is specifically related to an individual property owner with interest in purchasing an adjacent vacant lot next to their home.
so it has nothing to do with city planning?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, because again, if if you were, let's say Downs Manor was a house and you wanted to purchase the vacant lot next door, if there was a development going on down the street from you, I think you, as the property owner and resident, will probably have first rights of refusal. I could be wrong, but I mean, what we have on the agenda tonight is specifically about adjacent side lots.
Okay.
Maybe later in the evening, we have the CED director here. That's a good question.
Yeah, because the lots are, I mean, the blocks look bad already. And then if they got these open spaces, where's people gonna live?
You have a good point.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Do we have any other citizens that would like to address a issue specific to the items that are on the agenda? And I'm gonna lean on specifics.
Right, which would be blighted properties. Is that on there?
No,
That was the workshop.
yeah, that was the
That's the
workshop.
workshop,
That's the
okay.
workshop. At the end, please don't leave, because at the end of that, we have opportunity for you to have 2 minutes to talk to us about anything. All right, we value your input, so if you can hang out, we appreciate it. Okay. Related to the property sales?
I don't know if this is time or not, but because I was wondering about property to be on the agenda. So I don't know if you would wait afterwards or
It's
should I
afterwards.
address it now?
Yeah, let's do it. And then two, please.
Wait till later. to
Yeah, I
address
would
it?
say, yeah. So you can have not be interrupted based on time. Do we have anyone else that wanted to address issues on the agenda for tonight? Okay, I thank the citizens for that. And with that being said, we're gonna get into this agenda and work our way through. We might have more time than normal today because of the way the agenda is set. And so that way we'll be able to really get into the nuts and bolts of it. So starting with item 5A under the Finance Department, this is the submission of the monthly financial statement. This is a receive and file action. Members of City Council, how would you like to proceed on this?
I move to receive and file at the Highland Park City Council meeting, the finance submission for monthly financial statement, June 2023.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to receive and file the June 2023 statement. Do we have support?
Support with questions.
We have support from Mr. Al-Shafi with questions. The floor is open, sir.
Is Carl here?
Carl is.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Johnson? Got a question here. Is there a reason why we pay the state police? I see here, I see $3,588 to the state police.
Chief McMahon, if you would.
Oh, chief, okay.
How you doing? Yeah, so we actually pay the state police for various things, one of which is sex offender registry, certain lien programs. So I would have to see the specifics of what those were, but we pay the state for a few things.
Okay. If you can let me know exactly what that was for, I greatly appreciate it. And another question, if somebody can answer this one, is there a reason why we're paying $63,144.66 to the water department when they should be paying us? Okay, they should be paying us. Does anybody have an answer for that one?
I'm pretty sure that represents the monthly stormwater charges on all the city properties. So just like any other resident, we get monthly bills for stormwater for all city properties, and we pay a monthly fee. It sounds like about that amount each and every month to pay our water bills.
Okay. Could you please confirm that for me?
I will.
All right. Other than that, I'm good.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
We're just filing this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Don't go away yet, because you're the star of the show. So for the citizens, the next item is the resolution to approve the corrective action plan for the Highland Park Retiree Healthcare OPEB plan in accordance with Public Act 202 of 2017. Whereas the OPEB plan is less than 40% funded by the actuarially determined contributions for the OPEB plan of the city of Highland Park. is greater than 10% of the city's annual governmental revenue funds, and whereas the city has received a letter from the state of Michigan to file a corrective action plan monitoring forms for the OPEB plan, be it finally resolved that the Highland Park City Council hereby approves a corrective action plan for the OPEB plan in accordance with Public Act 202 of 2017. Members of City Council hearing that resolution, the floor is open for action on this.
I have a question.
So right now we need to get a motion on the floor as to how we're going to dispose of it, and then we can get into the questions and then make a voting decision on how we proceed. Floor is open for a motion.
Motion to approve with questions.
Have a motion to approve
Second,
for Mr. El Shafi, seconded by Councilwoman Martin.
Manica.
I'm sorry, Manica. Floor is open, Mr. El Shafi, as a.
Carl, okay, so I've read this thing. It looks like stereo instructions. It is well out of my, okay, I am not a retiree, but there are retirees here that are very concerned about it. If you could give us a brief overlay as to what this is, I could get a better understanding.
Perfect. That's
Thank you.
why I'm here. And again, I like to come before you and try to put it in English because
Thank you.
it is horrible. So,
Yeah.
all right. So in 2017, the state of Michigan, the governor at the time said, we need to ensure our pensions are significantly funded, as well as OPEB, the OPEB. That stands for other post-employment benefits, basically retiree healthcare for us. Okay. So in 2017, the governor passed Public Act 202 with the legislature that said, unless your pension is more than 60% funded or your OPEB, your retiree healthcare is more than 40% funded, you need to come up with a plan and tell us how you're going to get it to those levels in the next 30 years. So they immediately jumped on us for our pensions because, as you know, our pensions are significantly underfunded. We've been filing those plans since 2018. You passed one, I think I was in front of you 30, 60 days ago, and we passed the annual update related to that. They've never asked us for OPEB. Don't know how, don't know why. The OPEB liability, again, this is the liability. So anybody that has retired or can retire here and get retiree healthcare benefits, and for us, that's a $120 a month stipend. Anybody who can or has retired, we pay for those on an annual basis. So we used to pay about $320,000, now it's about $180,000 a year towards that. We don't put any other money aside. Right now, our actuaries have calculated the liability, the amount we owe. So if all our retirees live as long as the actuaries say they're going to be, into their 80s or whatever, and all of our actives retire and live into their 80s or whatever the actuaries say, they say we need to set aside $3.2 million to pay for this liability. We have zero set aside, and there's no way we can afford to put any additional money aside. This is not the highest priority. Obviously, the highest priority is pension. We are paying the retiree healthcare stipends. That's not an issue here. Annually in our budget, we pass those, but we haven't set any additional money aside. And I think that's why the state hasn't asked us for this plan as of yet. And remember, this isn't a Highland Park plan. This is every single community in the state of Michigan is under these same rules. And as of right now, there's still probably 10% or less that are 100% funded. I mean, so it's not like the pensions are a lot more funded than OPEB. This is a new monster that they created in 2017. So if you read through this plan, which again, it's a manual written in some other language, exactly. Yeah. So in essence, all I do is go through our existing plan is we cannot afford it. We are putting every extra dime we have to the tune of $260,000 annually towards the pension contributions as of right now. But what we have is the Protecting Michigan Pensions Grant that was approved by this body, again, 30 days ago, 60 days ago, or whatever. We should hear by August how much of that we are entitled to. And we hope that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $16, $17 million. If that's the case, that gets us significantly higher funded. And that extra 260,000 we're paying right now out of our annual budgets, that can drop. And that can drop significantly to the tune of like maybe $100,000. This is my estimate as of right now. If that does in fact happen, again, they give us that money dumps in our pension. We are not required to pay all of that extra money. We could take some of that extra money and start putting it aside towards OPEB. And that's what this plan says. This plan says if we get that money from the state of Michigan and our pension contributions go down, then we can start putting money aside. And the amount to get us to that 40% funded over the next 30 years is $40,000 per year. And so that's what this plan, it says we're not going to make any contribution this year because obviously we haven't heard back on the protecting Michigan pensions, but it says, assuming we get it, we'll start in the 24-25 budget year by adjusting our budget from extra pension contributions to pension and OPEB.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this right, Carl, so what you're telling me is that this is for, say I mysteriously age to the point where I'm old enough to collect that pension.
Yes.
Then it's for people that will soon be retiring.
Will soon be retired and or already retired. We have
Okay.
115 eligible employees.
Okay, now
Citywide.
does that affect our taxes in any shape, form, or fashion?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking
So-
about using our existing monies
Uh-huh.
to it. Right now, we're using our existing money to make that extra pension contribution that we required under 202.
Mhm.
We don't have any additional money over that to make
Right.
anything towards OPEB. But this plan basically says that. It says that unless we get that extra money, we can't make anything there. Our priority is pension first, and then we'll circle back on this later.
Okay, okay. So Carl, I got a quick question for you, and I think I'll be done at this point. What happens if we don't get this money? What liability does that put us with the state?
So what you
Just a
have-
hypothetical.
Yeah.
Say we don't get the 14 million.
Right, but so nothing changes from where we are right now. We still owe that money. We're still paying the retiree healthcare stipend.
Mhm.
We're still making the extra pension contributions out of our normal budget. What this is a reporting requirement. So
Okay.
we're required to submit this plan annually. And so even if our plan says we're contributing nothing for this year, which is what it says, and it also says if we don't get anything, we're not going to contribute anything when we update it next year.
Okay.
We're just required to submit this plan.
Okay.
And it's required to come before you. We didn't realize it was required to come before you until last minute. And again, I really appreciate you adding it to the agenda. It's one of those things where, again, we just want to stay compliant with them, but it literally will not impact us financially one way or another.
Okay.
If we don't get the pension monies, obviously we'd love to get the pension monies, but
Okay.
getting that or not, it will not impact this, does not impact this resolution. Again, this doesn't tie us to making any additional contributions or anything along those lines.
Okay, good. Because normally things being walked on, I usually say no to, but this
Yes.
pension.
Yeah, and again, this is one of these
Yeah.
states requiring it, and they won't accept it unless I have a resolution
Okay.
from you guys that says you at least acknowledged the plan. So,
Fair enough.
and again, I apologize for the last minute thing. I did not realize it had to officially be blessed by you.
A question, Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Carl, for making it simple.
And
I tried.
I just want to tell Councilman Ashafi that I didn't want to walk it on, because I know you didn't like walking on.
Yeah.
But there's a board meeting on Wednesday.
Wednesday, that's right.
For the state.
And
Yeah.
we got a call saying that we weren't on.
Mhm,
And so we don't want to risk it because they're getting ready to award the pension.
mhm.
So we don't want to be in not compliant with
That's
this because, we got enough issues going on.
Exactly.
So that's why I got walked on and didn't wait for the next council.
Fair
Because
enough.
of the Wednesday meeting.
All right, Madam Pro Tem, you've been patient.
So, will we get a copy of that correction, that action plan?
It's attached. Do you have the resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a narrative. You can see the state form, it starts at the top there. It says form 5597. That is the actual plan. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. And then I have a couple attachments. The attachment right behind it shows how in 30 years we will get to 40% funded. And then there's just a couple pages from the audit report that shows what our funding level is. So that is the whole plan. It's the state required form that we had to fill out with one Excel sheet from.
Councilwoman Marty?
Yeah, I only have one question. So this wasn't required before in the past?
This is their first request from us to submit it. Even though this law went into effect in 2017, they made us file it annually for the pension. because this is the same act that we were under with the pension, but they've never asked for it for OPEB. But now that we're on the radar, I guarantee
I don't have that.
this one and the other one will
I don't
be
have
before you
that. Right.
every single year. So,
And we will see this again next year.
yes, you will.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why I asked.
Because I
Because I don't have that attached. That's why I asked that question. Right, this is all I have right here. Thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any further questions on item 5B, resolution, we have a motion on the floor. We had to support it. Clerk, would you please call the roll on this item, please?
Councilman Ashafi, Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, resolution passes.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. Okay, I see it. I see it. Item 6 is all community development. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J are all related to community economic development. Council members, I refer you to your packet. So first, under community development, we have item A, that's a resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 87 Richton to the adjacent property owner at 83 Richton. We have a property owner in the audience.
Yes, right here.
Hey, ma'am. Members of council, I'm ready to entertain a motion on item A.
I want to make a motion to a resolution to sell the vacant resident adjacent lot at 870 Richton to the adjacent property owner at 83 Richton.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Martin to sell the vacant residential lot. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Councilwoman Manica. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, thank you very much. Motion carries. Item B, the resolution to sell the vacant residential lot adjacent at 229 Ford to the adjacent property owner at 237 Ford.
Is that person here? No, it's not.
I don't believe that person is here. Is that gonna be a sticking point for today?
I think they asked earlier in earlier meetings that the people be here and what we
Yeah.
asked about.
I remember. Just want to make sure that I was
No,
getting clarity.
I do have a question too. 'cause
Okay,
I
but
don't
we
mind.
haven't taken action on whether or not
Okay.
we're going to make a motion to approve or not approve. We need to get a motion on the floor to see how we're gonna deal with item B.
You need to ask everybody to.
Because I really think that this probably need to go in front of the planning commission. That's why I wanted to. ask
The city
question.
attorney just said to me in council that there is no requirement that the adjacent property owner be present. I know all of us had asked to have that person present, but I don't believe in other communities that adjacent property owner is required to be there. I know, Ms. Manik, there's no action on the floor, so I don't want to discuss outside. We don't have any action on the floor for this. And that might be, again, members of council, that is not a requirement in any other community that the person be present. It's that that the property be owned by the person that is applying for the vacant lot.
I think she has, may I speak?
I'm sorry,
May I make a comment?
it's
It's not gonna change what they're gonna do. I mean, I think the question is, there's some things on here, what they intend to do, and there's nobody to ask the questions. Exactly.
okay.
So I move this to another meeting.
So we're talking about tabling it?
I
Yes.
second that.
So we have, for item B, we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to table item B. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
We have a second from Councilwoman Martin. So what we're doing is we're voting on a resolution to table the sale of the vacant residential lot at 229 Ford to the adjacent property owner that is at 237 Ford. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on tabling this item?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, the item has been tabled. Next item is the resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 52 Louise to the adjacent property owner at 48 Louise. We have the property owner in. Okay, so we're gonna set an interesting precedent here. So we don't have the property owner here. Let's take a look at, we have to scrutinize all of these in the same
So
fashion.
can we just add, or do they should know they're here, right? Or they're on the agenda?
Yeah, and that, so if we looked at this, so I'm just looking at this item here. This is C. The applicant says they want to install a fence. They own a dog. They've been maintaining this lot since 2011. So they're meeting all of the requirements. They're telling us what they want to do. They're saying that what their involvement has been on this property. And we might set an undue precedent by putting pressure on them. So the previous one that we tabled, Dante Ramsey, he said, my intent is to use the lot to build a 2-car garage. I mean, we run the risk of legal action because they've done everything that they've been required to do. That's how these documents arrived at us. They went through legal, they went through the Treasury, they went through CED. The applicants have done all of their legal obligations. And so I don't really know how to, I'm saying we're getting in some murky legal water here if we play this. To every person that wants to try and buy a piece of property.
With that being said, President, if we do, and if we were to agree the one that we tabled, then did that mean we're giving permission to build and he's gonna do the proper steps to build, or I thought they had to go through?
Well, yeah, you can't, his intent, in order to build anything, you have to go through CED and the building department.
Right.
So I could say I want to get this piece of property and I want to build a tiny house. Purchasing it and informing you of my intent is different from getting the actual approval to do so. That goes to the building department and through CED. So they can't do any of that without taking those steps. What they're doing here
Or
for us.
without them being here to explain it to us and they know that that's what their intent is.
He has to acquire the property first.
Right. I mean, so yeah, and thank you, Ms. Burton, for that. So
I make a motion to sell 52 Louise to 48 Louise.
just before we go any further, let me make sure we do something though. We just tabled.
Exactly my point.
We just tabled the property for Mr. Dante Ramsey. We just said we're not gonna address that because he's not here. And as we look through this packet, again, each member has an opportunity to vote how they want. But I saw a pattern emerging potentially that would be not so great for the city. So if members of council want to relook at this item that has been tabled.
I motion to table, Council President.
Say again?
I motion to table this item.
You want to my item C?
Yeah, I motion to table 48 Louise for the next meeting. Because I talked to all of these individuals, I personally called them and they assured me that they would be here. I personally talked to these people on the phone.
Okay, I
Ms.
mean,
Spike White is here.
and I appreciate that
I
too.
talked to Ms. Spike White, she's here.
Yes, I appreciate that. And the beauty is she's here all the time, but we run into an issue for whatever reason. If this person, our meetings are at Monday at 7 p.m. We are in America with a 3-shift employment cycle. For whatever reason, someone might not be able to be here. And if they've met all of the legal requirements in order to have this thing come forward, and I believe that there are many more properties that have been in process with a lot of people who have lived here for a long time and been maintaining pieces of property. I think we run the risk of unduly injuring people because they weren't able to attend our city council meeting. Ms. Manica.
So I don't suggest tabling all of these. And then there is one at least that actually is, if I'm correct, saying they actually don't want the property anymore. But the first one wasn't tabled. Oh no, in my case, because they wasn't here, it was because my understanding was, I thought that council needed to ask a few questions.
Yes.
Neither the person nor Hinton was here to answer the question. That was the only reason, but the rest of them, I don't actually suggest tabling.
Yeah, point taken. But let me pose this here. If we If we table, I'm sorry.
Well, he was over here at first.
Okay,
Thank
so
you
now,
very much.
I appreciate your comment. I appreciate everybody's comment on this, because I just want to make sure that we do it the correct way, because a lot of these people have been waiting a long time. So if Mr. Al Shafi has a motion on the floor to table item C, do we have support for that?
Support.
We have support from Ms. Martin. So if you could go ahead and take the
Oh,
roll
wait,
on
wait,
tabling.
wait, C?
This is item C. This is we already tabled B.
No, I don't want to table C.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I withdraw my
I will draw
support.
my table.
Okay, so we'll
I will
move right
draw-
along. Do we have a motion on the floor to take action on item C?
I gave a motion.
And that motion was, just remind me.
To sell.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Council Pro Tem
Council
Robinson.
President, hold up a second.
Do we have support for that?
Support.
We have support for Ms.
Council
Martin.
President, can we bring back forward? Can we bring it back from the table? If we're going to sell this one here, then we have to bring forward back,
Okay,
because they got table for the same thing.
okay, so let's pause. Mr. Al Shafi has made a very valid point. Members of City Council, at this point, we have a motion on the floor from Mr. Al Shafi to bring item B off the table.
Right.
Okay, we have, but listen.
We're on
Mr. Al
C
Shafi said he
now.
wanted to bring this item back. We're gonna finish C, but I just want to make sure that the members understood the point he was trying to raise. Do we all agree on that we all heard what he was trying to say?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure if
If I'm out of
that was a
line,
good
then
answer.
Council President, then I'll pass on the whole subject, okay? And we can move forward.
Can we move forward to C?
Okay, all right. I thank you, Mr. Al
Point of
Shafi, for
order.
your attempt to rectify that. So on item C, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi, for number C. Letter C.
For Louise, correct?
Yes.
No.
Okay,
Councilwoman Martin,
To sell.
yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Council President.
Yes, thank you so much. On to item D. This is a resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 222 Midland to the property owner at 216 Midland.
Is that person here today?
Nice.
I make a motion to sell 222 Midland to 216 Midland.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor from Council Pro Tim Robinson, second by Councilman Al Shafi. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tim Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so we're moving on to item E, that is a resolution to sell vacant residential lot at 83 Portage to the property owner at 81 Portage. City Council, how should we proceed on this?
I want to make a motion to sell the vacant residential lot at 83 Portage
Portage, yes.
to the property owner at 81 Portage.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Martin
Support with questions.
to approve the sale. We have support from Councilman Al Shafi. Mr. Al Shafi, the floor is yours.
Council President, I'm looking at two applications here by the same person.
Which applications are those? Please be
Okay,
specific.
I'm looking at an application for
E and F.
87 Portage,
So.
and
this
I'm
is-
looking at an application for 83 Portage.
So this is item E and item F. So this property owner it appears to be trying to purchase the vacant lots on either side of their home.
Okay, well, that's just it, Council President. He lives on Rhode Island. He doesn't even live on Portage.
He's a
And there's-
property owner.
No. There's no houses over there. It's another lot that he owns next to two other lots. And he lives on Rhode Island. And he's got two applications here. Nobody else is getting, and I tell you, nobody else in this city is getting an opportunity to put in two applications at the same time and get two pieces of lot. So why are we making this exception for him?
What does the ordinance say?
The ordinance says the adjacent property owner. I'm about to pull these properties up. Give me a
Yeah.
second.
Mhm. Yeah, please do pull
May
them
I
up.
say something while you're doing that?
Go right ahead, man.
Okay, so what's being said is, and I understand the point, is there's no house, so he owns a lot. on both sides of that lot is two other lots.
Mhm.
So now he'd have three lots. So what is he gonna do with
Yeah.
three lots and no house?
I think that's a
On
development
that
plan, it
area.
sounds like to me.
Is Mr. Davis here? So again, let's not get too far into the weeds. How does person own this first piece of property? None of us know. None of us can be hypothetical about that. The ordinance says that a person who owns a piece of property, if there's a vacant lot next door, they have the right to submit an application to buy it. That makes them responsible for it. That makes them required to pay the taxes on it. That makes them now the responsible party and not the city. So when we transfer these lots through sale, whoever this person is becomes a new taxpayer for those lots. The ordinance is designed to make that person, whoever that is, I see all three of y'all, the new person responsible for. So let's stick to what the ordinance says. You have questions? I think all your hands went up at the same time. I'm gonna let the ladies go first. So Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, okay, so the lot that he already owns, is he current? That should have been in this packet with these, so we can make our.
I thought it said
Each
it in the packet
application-
that he was.
Each application has a tax assessment and certification. It says no outstanding taxes
Right.
on 81 Portage.
Right. I thought it said it in the packet.
It did.
Right.
Mr. Al-Shafi, I'm sorry, Ms. Manica and then Ms. Al-Shafi. I sound like the lady to go first, please. Ms. Manica.
Okay, so he has a letter that he wrote, right, on the back. I don't know if anybody can you hear me? Okay, it says, to whom it may concern, I, Frankie Davis, have owned 81 Portage, Highland Park, Michigan, since 1979. The vacant lots located at 83 and 87 Portage, Highland Park, Michigan, 48203, have been sold for more than 20 years.
I've been what?
I have not
been-
seen.
I have been
I'm sorry,
keeping the property up and have fenced it in an apparent to keep down foot traffic. Loitering and
The
The
light.
blight.
the like, okay?
Blight.
It also gives a better look to the neighborhood since I am taking care of the lot. I feel I should own then.
Yeah.
Then for your consideration in this matter.
So-
Oh, thank you for your consideration in this matter.
So there it is. That answers the question as to why this person is, in his own handwritten words, that he also stated in some great detail that he's owned this lot since 1979.
The property is not fenced in, Council President.
Okay.
That's a good thing. It is or is not?
It's not fenced
It's
in.
not, I didn't think so. So here's what my question was going to be, or just my statement. Here we are again, and this goes to all the properties here. And it's actually a mayor or maybe even Mr. Hinton question or just consideration. We keep asking this over and over again to be more diligent on what's the process? How are you picking them? Because this is all, it's 22, some people just now put in for these lots in 2023. So what happened to all the people in
Yeah.
16 and 18 or whenever
Right.
that may have wanted to purchase lots? Why aren't they coming up before
they're
we
not
get
in
to
the
the
queue,
people
exactly.
to 20? So how are they getting in the queue?
That's
right.
If you want to call it that. That's the first question.
Right.
That's the first question. The second one would be, and this is gonna cover all of this here. The second one is, if we're talking about, we keep throwing that out there about the tax paying, and I'm one big for, we need some tax paying people here. We need some people paying their taxes. You've been owning it that long. What are you gonna, so Mr. Shafi said he doesn't live on that street. I actually, be honest, don't know, and it's probably in the packet.
In his
So if
application,
you're
says he
not-
lives at 30 Rhode Island.
If you're not living on that street, then what are you going to do on
For the
Portage?
next 20 years.
And then why haven't you built something? What is the plan? Because if I remember correctly, you have to present a plan. And yeah, here's the plan. Here we go again with, I want to put flowers. I want to make it look great. I want to do great. But do we actually get tax paying money back? I think is what the concern is here.
Yes.
Are we really getting that taxable value? I'm not sure. And if we want to create development, what about somebody in that area? Because we have a lot of land in that area who says, I will not only develop on this block that has nothing, I will do some infill housing for you too. So now we're cutting away the infill housing possibility. Just saying.
Before you answer too, Mr. Henry, let me respond to what my colleague said too. We are Highland Parkers, and we might have a whole lot of pride, but Highland Parkers don't have a whole lot of money. And to build a house
I disagree.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, I can only speak for myself. And even if I wanted to buy a lot and build a house tomorrow, that's a 6-figure expenditure. And so I get your point about saying in the future, we want a developer to come here and they say, we want to buy these lots and infill houses here. Then I think the people who have lived here the longest, invested the most sweat equity, they should be the people that the developer should come and buy that land from. It should be the people who live in Highland Park, who stayed here during all of the blight and all of the strife. I would love to see, and I've made this clear that this is my internal bias. Before a developer comes and buys the city up, I would rather see citizens buy the city up and the developers buy the property from the citizens. There should be some benefit to people who have stayed here and who have weathered the storm the longest. So we have our neighbors, taxpayers, people who reside in the city who already own property and want to buy the property next to it. I look favorably upon that because a developer from outside of the city, they have no connection here, no affiliation. As soon as they get the money, they're gone. But when you have somebody who actually has lived here and has provided sweat equity, I see a benefit in making, if anybody's going to be enriched, it should be Highland Parkers that have owned these lots and cut this grass and dealt with all of this blight. That's my personal opinion. I mean, and I'm more so responding to because I feel your comment. And, we've talked about this. I feel your comment, but I have a bias to making sure that the poor people who live here, who can afford to buy a side lot, they can't afford to buy a side lot. And if a developer wants to come and develop and they want that property so bad, then they should pay those people.
I'm not disagreeing.
Right.
But I just want to say something.
We agree.
Frankie is a woman, by the way. I'm sorry,
Right.
guys. I wanted to point that out.
Agree.
Frankie's a woman.
We agree. We agree. Mr. El Shafi, I see your hand is up and I know you're there, Mr. Hinton. I'm not ignoring you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The floor is yours.
Okay. Okay, so Council President, you are correct. I would rather see a Highland Park residents have it, but my concern is simple. I feel like this is a runaround to the process of the charter with a development plan. Okay, I mean, understand that we're saying side lots. We're saying that you can get the lot that's next door to you. This is on the other side of town. This is not next door to her, okay? So this is on the other side of town. So my concern is what is the plan here for these 3 pieces of lot, her piece and the 2 that she's about to purchase here. She's got 2 applications in here. Nobody else has been given an opportunity to receive 2 applications or put in 2 applications. Everybody put in 1 application at a time. So who gave this leeway for 2 applications for 2 pieces of land that surround her land, which clearly calls for a development plan, if you ask me? That's what it sounds like.
I agree, but turn over on the back of the page.
Right,
And this might add to the narrative.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
I have owned the lot since 1979, and I would argue in this city in 1979, there were probably houses on both sides of that.
I'll tell you.
So what may have happened is that the property that she owns at one point may have had existing structures on it. I'm speculating here because you raised a valid point, but this person said, I have owned this property since 1979. Okay, we're talking about 40 years. And so unless we go back and look at the Google Maps from 20 years ago, we don't know whether or not they were standing properties that burned down, which was a common feature from 1979 to 1989. A whole lot of houses burned up in Highland Park. We really don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if that much is
President, all I am simply saying.
And you're not wrong.
Okay. All I am simply saying, I'm willing to be lenient here. I'm willing to give 1 and see what she does. But I am seriously unwilling to give 2.
Fair.
At the same time.
Fair.
At one time. I can give 1, but 2, no. Let's see what she does. Let's see what happens. She's got 1 piece of property over there already. So let's see what happens with the second. If we see an improvement in something that's being done, then maybe we can come back to this second one, but I am unwilling to give two. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Nobody else in here has been given that privilege.
That's your
Nobody else in
prerogative, too.
here has been
That's
given
your,
that right.
that's your absolutely right. So, Ms. Martin, I see your hand. Mr. Hinton, I see you standing there. Can you offer any context to this particular?
Well, the context I would offer is to get the clarification from the person so that you will know, get her here, and you will know what her intentions are, although she said what she wanted to do. There are some ambiguities.
Yes, sir.
But the ordinance does not make it clear about adjacent property on both sides and whether or not you can buy it. That's something we have to clarify.
Okay.
And the other thing is, to your point, we are trying our best, and that's why you have so many, to clean up all the backlog. That's exactly what we're trying to do. From 2017, 2018, and on up. We are in the throes of doing that. There are some items yet to be on the agenda. We're trying to methodically go through and get all those back requests.
This is a 2023 request.
Yes, I know. I'm saying we are trying to get all the back requests. Some people still have to bring additional information, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But to your point, we're trying to clean up all the backlog.
So these are the.
We only get two, but so here's my last point to this, and this will just help a whole lot. I know that the ordinance may have, some holes in it, but there's some things that to me just seem really common sense because we've been in here 6 months. You pretty much know these 5 people.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so before even bringing this and putting people in this type of situation, because it doesn't look bad on your account, it puts us in a bad situation.
That's right.
Because you just brought it. No, please let me finish.
Yeah.
Because I would love to say yes to this, but then that looks bad when I said no in other meetings for the same similar reason, and they even had property that was near it. So now you're putting me in a spot that, oh, you didn't say yes to this, but it never had to come here. It never had to come right now. I should be looking probably at 16, 17, 18, 19, and 4. That's what we should actually be looking at. And then 23. But instead, now I have to, not you, I have to be the person that's looked at. And it never had to get here. It never had to get here if it was explained and really, because you already know we was gonna ask for a development plan. I've asked every single time.
Yes.
I've talked to even business owners and other people. So it doesn't have to get here, Mr. Hinton. I like you, but this is just beginning to be a spinning wheel that I have to keep asking the same question. What's the development plan? How does this go with the mayor and her plan on bringing development? If you got a development, and I know you have a whole bunch of developers, sir, I do. Promise you I do. And some of them will do infill housing. So you have got to explain it to the residents or your staff when they're coming. You have to, that, hey, the mayor's plan is to do this. So give us a chance and wait, or give us a chance to get through this. Because I have people calling, when we gonna get to buying the auction of houses? When we're gonna get to other things? And I'm tired of spinning wheels, and I'm tired of being the bad person when it doesn't have to get here.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much. So I think, Ms. Martin, I don't know if you had your hand up. If not, we can go ahead and take a vote.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, first of all, I would never cut you off. I wasn't trying to do that, okay? And I apologize for the ambiguity, and that will not happen again, okay? Now, if there's a development that someone has in mind, that's when we ask for a development plan.
Okay.
If they're saying, I just want to do flowers on a lot, then if there's their intention, then the question is, do we go with it or don't we? But the ambiguity on both sides of a lot, buying other lots and that sort of thing, that will not happen again, okay? I'm trying to get to the point where I can bring developers before you. We're just trying to sell vacant lots and get that backlog cleared up. And the mayor and I agreed that's what we wanted to do. So I'm not gonna put you in a position where you have to second guess in the future.
I appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much.
Coming up here in a minute. and she gonna ask us again about getting a lot next to a lot.
Right.
Okay, I want to,
Mm.
I hate them. I should have never took the classes. Robert's rules requires that we allow each member to interject on an item twice and no more than 2 times. So, Mr. El Shafi, I don't want to ignore your hand.
No. I have a question for you, Council President. not for
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hampton. Okay, so my question is that since we have 2 applications here, both of them are on Portage, both of them are by Ms. Frankie Davis, is it possible we could take these 2 items together? I'm willing to approve one, but I'd be damned if I'm gonna get both.
Well, considering what you said earlier, I actually put a note next to this because I expected it to be tabled.
Okay.
That was my note. It
I got
says,
questions.
Mr. El Shafi's gonna table this next. Yeah, but-
Okay.
I got a
so-
question.
Yes, Mr.
This was in February and clearly it was around the time where there was snow. Does these still look like this or have they changed at all?
No, you can't answer yes or no.
No more questions.
Okay, so I'm ready to take the roll on item E. This is the resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 83 Portage to the property owner at 81 Portage. Madam
Council, I
Clerk,
move the table.
it's already been motioned to be approved. We had questions. We deliberated it. Yeah, we can table that based on procedure. We don't have to sell E and F to the same person. It's been deliberated at length to sell one in accordance with the law, the person that's obliged the law. We do not have to sell them 2.
Right.
So, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll on item E? This is the resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 83 Portage to the property owner at 81 Portage. Madam?
Councilman Ashafi,
Council President, I request to be excused from voting on this item because I
Mr.
don't
El
know which
Shafi,
way
we
it's
have to
gonna
take-
go. I'm not gonna vote on this item. I don't know which way it's gonna go.
Just
I
rescind
don't
your-
like it.
Rescind your
Okay, then
support.
I would like to rescind my support immediately.
Okay, we had a motion on the floor from Council Pro Tem Robinson to sell the vacant residential lot at 83 Portage to the property owner at 81 Portage. Do we have support?
Support.
We have support from Council Woman Martin. Would you please call the roll on item E, please? I'm sorry.
Martin made the motion.
So the support came from you, Ms. Manica?
No, it was Martin and
I want to see
Ashanti.
them.
I support
made.
What are you?
I'm supporting.
Councilman Ashafi.
I'm supporting to sell the vacant
You moved-
residential lot
okay,
at
so hold on
83
just a
Portage
second.
to,
Listen, hold a second. We talked for a long time, y'all. I just want to make sure that we're on schedule here. Ms. Martin made the motion to sell the property at 83 Portage to a property owner at 81 Portage. Do we have support for that motion? The chair offers support. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
No,
Councilwoman Martin,
yes.
Councilwoman Manica. I didn't hear.
She didn't say anything. and she's still thinking.
Councilwoman Manica. Council Pro Tem Robinson,
No,
Council President Thomas.
Yes. Ms. Manica, what was your vote?
It was a yes.
It was a yes. Okay, that motion carries. Now, council, this next item F, we've already said what we want to do with it. So do we have a motion on the floor for item F, the resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 87 Portage to the property owner at 81 Portage?
I move to table that one.
We have a
Move
motion
to
on the floor
table.
from Councilwoman Manica to table this item. Do we have support?
I support.
We have support from Council Pro Tem. Would you please call the roll on item F?
Councilman Ashafi.
He sustained.
Councilwoman Martin,
To table it?
To table it.
Yes.
Yes,
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
yes, motion carries.
So may I speak?
Please.
So my disgruntled or my dismay here was because it was a forced situation, because if it got lost, then she couldn't come back. And I don't think that's fair.
You say lost?
Yes,
What you mean
because
lost?
once we say no, it's not coming back.
That's the thing.
you said no
So-
last time, the other one came back.
So we cannot, you know what I'm saying?
Colorado
We
came
said,
back.
sir, you understand what I'm saying? If we say no to it, it doesn't come back to it doesn't come back here.
It's a no.
It's a no-no.
You said no.
So I said yes, because I didn't want it to be stuck out there, or that it would be a no and she didn't get it. But I did decide to table the other one for the simple fact we really wanted to table it. But I
Yes.
feel like it was a forced kind of situation, and we should never get into that. It just be table, get the information. At least when we table it, that person has an opportunity to come back, or we have an opportunity to come back and give a real fair vote.
I absolutely agree with you. And then thank you for pointing out the fact that when an item, that the item on Colorado, there were some other issues wrong with it. It had to be corrected. The packet wasn't complete. But the packet it had to be corrected.
We definitely denied it, but it definitely came back.
Because the item had to be corrected. It wasn't as if the application was not complete. In this situation, members have raised a valid point that deserves to be heard. My feeling that Highland Park residents should have first dibs on the property does not, it does not take into consideration the points that Councilman Ashafi raised, the points that Councilwoman Martin raised, the points that Pro Tem raised, the points that Ms. Manica raised. All of those are very valid points, but I do appreciate the fact that you recognize that if we said no, it doesn't come back. You are absolutely right. We should not give anybody the ability to get two pieces of property tonight for an application that went in 2023 when there are likely people who put in applications in 2017, 18, 19, 20. All of you are absolutely correct.
So if we table this to bring it back.
That means that person has that person needs to show up for one.
Right, but if we're tabling it to bring it back, then my thing is we might as well say yes and pass.
No, there were too many questions. Your counterparts had too many questions and they deserve answers to those questions, no matter how minor they are.
So then we're saying that it's a possibility when we bring it back that we're gonna say yes.
No.
You can say yes or no.
Okay, so listen, based on procedure, the item has been tabled. And we're not supposed to discuss it any further, but all of your points are valid. Those people are gonna have to show up. That was item F that was tabled, and for good reason. I agree with the idea of tabling that.
Can we move to G?
Yes.
I want to make a motion to sell the vacant residential lot adjacent to 44 Candler to the adjacent property owner at 40 Candler.
We have, for item G, we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Martin to sell the residential property at 44 Candler to the adjacent property owner at 40 Candler. Do we have support?
Support with questions.
We have support from Councilman El Shafi with questions. The floor is open for your questions, sir.
Council President, I tell you, here we are again.
And I appreciate you pointing it out. So we already know what to do.
Yeah, I tell you, here we are again with 3 applications, but this one is a little bit different. This is not only 3 applications for 3 different pieces of parcel. Okay, not to mention that one of the parcels on Avalon they're using, which puts the city in liability.
Using for
a guard. Okay. So the property is being used right now. The charter says that you can secure and maintain, but you cannot use because you put the city in liability. If something happens to you on that property, we're liable for that. We're liable for it legally because it's still our property. Okay. If somebody slips and falls and break a hip or break a leg or something, who gets sued?
We do.
Not the person using the lot. The city does. You do. Okay. So here we have 3 pieces of property: 40 Chandler, 51 Avalon, which is the one that's being used, and then also 44 Chandler.
Okay. So that
okay. And I'm sorry, the first one isn't 40 Chandler. That's where he lives. It's 48 Chandler. But here's the kicker. Not only are there 3 applications here, and one of the properties is being used, which is clear-cut violation, but on top of that, this is a nonprofit organization. These people are not going to pay any taxes on this land.
Sounds like we know what to do on these, Mr.
This is a nonprofit.
So for item G, resolution to sell the vacant residential. The representative here for the property. Hold on just a second, sir. So how did that for item G? Who made the motion?
Okay. Oh, and Council President, I withdraw my support.
Okay, there we go. So now have a seat, sir. Just have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. So members of City Council, the wheels are turning here. And you're telling me item G, H, and I need a second look.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for item G, resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 44 Chandler to the adjacent property owner. How should we proceed on this?
Isn't there a motion still on the floor, Council President?
There's a motion on the floor
Okay.
from Ms. Martin to approve the sale. You withdrew your support.
Yes, sir, I did.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have support?
For lack of support.
Yeah, yeah. That doesn't mean it goes away. We have to come back, okay?
If there's no support.
So item G dies on the floor for a lack of support. This is gonna go back to CED. My apologies, Ms. Martin. Okay, so, sir, I'm sorry. It sounded like, that was you that made that motion? It sounded like Ms. Martin for that. It was Ms. Martin. That was Ms. Martin that made that motion. Yeah, I heard it correctly. So I saw the young man stand up. So, no, we're gonna go through the motions and then after we're done, then we're gonna have you come up here after you're done. So for item H, resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 48 Chandler to the property owner at 40 Chandler. City Council, how would you like to proceed?
No, it's 44 Chandler, Council President.
I'm sorry, I'm on H. As 40, the resolution to sell the vacant resident, so G died on the floor.
Okay, G died on the floor.
G died on the floor.
44 Chandler died on the floor. Yes.
Yep, so that was item G, died on the floor. So item H, resolution to sell the vacant residential lot at 48 Chandler to the property owner at 48 Chandler. City Council, how should we proceed on this? Item H dies on the floor for lack of support. We're gonna move on to item I, resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 55 Avalon to the adjacent property owner at 51 Avalon. City Council, how should we proceed on this? I am. Item I dies on the floor for lack of support. Is the applicant for these three lots, are you here? Would you mind coming to the podium, sir? The items that were on the agenda for your purchases, they died on the floor for a lack of support. That's indicative of the fact that members of City Council had quite a few questions. With you being here, which we greatly appreciate, there were some questions that were raised. Normally, we would only hear from someone during the deliberation, but your request died on the floor for a lack of support. I don't think that you're going to go away, that your interest is still going to be consistent. If you could, would you be willing to answer the questions of our council members here and also provide some context as to these applications? Give us a little bit of color to this so that we can understand it.
Yes.
First, I have a question for you first. Are you in fact a nonprofit organization?
I have no idea as what.
Okay, so you've already voted and they died.
Yes.
I know you want.
I talked to your father.
Citizens participation,
Okay.
because really. these are
Absolutely. I'm
correct.
sorry. During citizens participation, would you mind coming up to the podium and offering us some context?
Yeah,
in?
no problem.
I just didn't want to ignore you. Obviously, we're working out our process here.
Okay.
It's very important. And our constituents have asked us to provide this level of
So
scrutiny.
is
So,
Jay there too?
Yes.
yeah. So if you wouldn't mind hanging out to the end.
Yeah. not a
Okay,
problem.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
So
that.
did Jay die, lack of support also?
We didn't get to
we
Jay
have
yet.
to-
We didn't get to
Jay
Jay.
now.
Jay is where we are now.
Jay, what we are right now.
It just looked easy, y'all. So,
Okay, I want to make a motion to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 66 Elmhurst to adjacent property owner at 70 Elmhurst.
Second.
we have a motion on the floor to sell the vacant residential lot at 66 Elmhurst to the adjacent property owner at 70 Elmhurst. We have that motion from Councilwoman Manica. I'm sorry, Martin, seconded by Councilman Ashafi. I don't see any hands or questions. You want to take the roll on that, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Ashafi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica?
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson? Council Pro Tem Robinson?
We just tabled.
We have 3 yeses on the floor. Councilwoman Robinson?
I'm gonna have to vote no because we tabled B.
Council President Thomas?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, members of council, for working the kinks out of this process. I am absolutely certain that we're gonna have more of these. We are all still novices.
Mr. President, I want to make a motion.
Okay, we're at the end of our,
Right, I want to make a motion to open for discussion to submit a bid for a review for demolition.
I'm sorry.
I said I want to make a motion to open up for discussion to submit a bid for a review for demolition.
So you want to make a motion
Correct,
to open discussion
correct,
to submit a bid
correct.
for demolition?
You got it.
Ma'am, we can't, we already approved the agenda. Would you like to?
She can discuss it at council.
But I'd
Yeah,
like to
during-
move it onto the agenda, yes.
No.
It's not, we're not.
You can discuss it at council affairs, but it can't be on the agenda.
Yeah, we can't.
Okay, Mr. President.
Okay.
Is there a workshop that's an option for council president?
Now there's no options for workshops.
Okay, so we've concluded the agenda here. Before we go into citizens' participation, I see hands up.
Okay, just real quick, I would just ask that the last one that we approved for the 66 and 70 Elmhurst, that Mr. Hinton, please make sure that they just know what is necessary for them to build a garage. Just make sure they know what they need to do in their process. That's all I'm asking, because that is Ms. Robinson's concern, that they want to build on there. And so I just think it'd be fair to make sure we let them know what the steps are and what they need to do to build. Okay, and then to my colleagues, there was nothing against what you wanted to do, it was just the process. So we can discuss it in affairs. It has nothing to do with a workshop. If you want to ask for one, then ask for one. But other than that, we can discuss it today in affairs. But right now, it can't go on the agenda because we already accepted the agenda. We should have did that at the very beginning.
And this is the process of accepting bids. That is not within our purview. We don't do bids. We're not legally imbued with that power to accept the bids. That's something that goes through the city administration and goes through the legal department.
I didn't want to accept anything. I just wanted for discussion. That was it.
It was just your terminology. So you still can discuss it in affairs.
Absolutely. So right now, we're going to move into citizens' participation. There was a gentleman, and I see all your hands, but there were some people that I called out in the audience first. The gentleman who came to the podium earlier, who had issues. Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mr. Williams, and also the young man here that was from the nonprofit organization. Yeah, I want to make sure, no, I'm sorry. Of course, you're always welcome. But I was talking about the gentleman that stood up earlier, tried to come and talk during the earlier 2 minutes. If you would, and I appreciate your patience for staying. I just wanted to make sure that I honored you and gave you an opportunity to address us.
Thank you very much, sir. I just had a quick question about property that's not owned by the city that still has some blighted issues. I live behind a park. I don't know who's the owner of the park, but there are trees that were blown over from the weather. And now it's created a bad habitat back there. Like you've heard other citizens talk about raccoons and different environment and so on and so forth. Whoever owns that park, they're not maintaining that part of it.
It's a park?
Yes, it's Thorn Park is the name of it, actually. It's on Gero between Brush in Oakland.
Is that
That's a city. Yes, that's a park, the city owns.
Okay, okay.
That's the city-owned property?
Yes, sir.
I thought it was.
Okay,
city-owned.
well, I know it's maintained by the company across the street, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
And for whatever reason, the landscaping company is not doing what the city of Highland Park used to do, which is completely maintain the park. Okay, so that's my primary issue.
Did you say there's some trees fell? I missed that.
Yeah, there
part.
are some trees and limbs that fell,
And
and it just
they fell
piled
in the
up.
park.
They piled up in the back of the park. So the residents that live along Grand and My Street, we have to deal with it. But the individuals that enjoy the park, it's clear out in that area. But near our backyards, we have to deal with the debris and stuff that is falling and is not being addressed.
can we get DPW over there to take care of that, Council President?
They're not in here, but I.
Council President, this is the mayor.
Yes,
Council President, I will address that issue with DPW tomorrow morning.
Thank you kindly.
We have someone who adopted the park who has been taking care of it, but we will make sure that the area that Mr. Stansfield, I think that's who it is addressing, is looked at tomorrow to find out what is exactly going on over there.
Okay. And I'm gonna probably drive it myself too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Now, do we have any other citizens that would
Are you
like
going
to be
down the
heard?
left or
Ma'am,
the
in the
right?
front, please.
Hi, my name is Jamel Edwards. I live on 204, I live at 204 East Grand. I have several questions. One, I had garbage that should have been picked up in front of my house. I asked all of the residents around me. It was packaged neatly and it was in construction black bags. The supervisor that came to talk to me was very rude and ignorant. And I didn't understand why I pay taxes and no one's never told me how much trash should go in front. They always address it should be neat. Two, let's talk about the retirees' health benefits. Those who do not have benefits, the city hasn't did anything because I retired in 2018. And in the city handbook, it said if you work 30 years, they will pay 100% of your medical bill, which I have not, they haven't did not once for me. And let's talk about Robert Rules of Order. Lastly, if we're talking about Robert Rules of Order and you say no, you can bring it back to the table. Two, in the agenda and in Robert Rules of Order, it don't talk about commentary throughout the agenda. It says that you must follow the agenda by the letter of the law. You cannot jump in and out and say, we're going to uphold Robert Rules of Order on this and not that. Thank you.
Yes, we have another citizen that would like to be heard. Ma'am, gray shirt. Well, ma'am, who, first one to the podium.
Miss Janet.
My name is Helen Washington.
How you doing, Ms. Washington?
I've been living in Highland Park since it was Highland Park, 1962.
All right.
I have been harassed the last 3 years by this government. I was, the property that we're complaining about now was the property that I had to go on Zoom to the court because they said that my property was falling down. It was the property next door that I'm complaining about now. That cost me money. I've been paying for years to have this property taken care of. My neighbors have been taking care of the park right there on Lincoln so that our kids can have someplace to go. My son and I have been working with the youth of this community for years. When are the citizens going to get any compensation for what they do? I think it's unfair to us and to the people that we're trying to help in Highland Park. And I think at one time, at the council meetings, we decided that we would have a group of maybe 2 council meetings to work with the citizens of Highland Park to find out what's going on and what's wrong and what can be done. I don't know what happened to it. I think some of the paperwork from years past must have got burned up or thrown away or something because none of this is happening. We had a program where senior citizens could call the city and say, I need some help in getting my grass cut. It never appeared 1 year. It worked 1 year. Now it's not anywhere around. We have people in the neighborhood that want to clean up. And you know what they tell us? We can't give you trash bags to clean up this property. We're gonna do all the work, but the city can't give us trash bags? To me, that doesn't make sense. We have nonprofit organizations, in case you don't know, the North Detroit Jets, the Silverback Academy. My son runs it. I was first president of the North Detroit Jets. Got a little old, but it happened. But my thing is, we have offered to do several things in this city. And you've said no to us. But people that don't know anything about this city walk in and come to the council and to the city, and you say, okay, you can do that. And you'll pay them to do it. We have one person in our neighborhood that keeps that park on Lincoln clean. He goes up there every day.
Talking about Danny.
Yeah, and guess what? They won't give him garbage bags.
So I love that you're here too. I'm looking at the park right now. Those questions that you have for us, that will be addressed to the mayor. None of us sitting here would ever tell you no, for one. I don't think anybody sitting up here would tell you no, and I think everybody up here would bring you trash bags and help you clean up.
Okay, and another thing.
I think the issue is probably with the mayor, who, if she's still on the line, she might be able to help us.
Another thing is, I called the city.
I'm here. Check you live in Council District 3, so that's your council person right there.
Okay, and another thing, I called the city. I have possums, I have rats. They come and they put me a little pack of stuff on the porch to throw over there, so the rats don't come, right? And then here lately, in this new administration, I called the city, same prompts. They tell me I got the wrong number. Now you tell me what's wrong with that.
What number did you dial, ma'am?
The same number that I've been dialing for years.
The mayor's on the line.
Mayor's on the line right there, talk to her.
She's in the Zoom meeting.
But you know, my thing is, I called, and one day I said, now, I know I called this number, and it says City of Highland Park, prompt number 3. And you said the wrong number, and I sit there for about 20 minutes, and I say, hey, let me call this number again. I called the number 3.
Ms. Washington, are you dialing 252-0050?
There's City of Highland Park when they answer.
When you call, please dial extension for $1 and then dial extension 238. That goes straight to the front desk where the poison is being held.
Okay.
It's right there. We got plenty of it downstairs. All you have to do is go down, come up there, have somebody come up there and get it. It's plenty of it.
Okay, now I have one
what
question.
You want to use.
Okay, one other question. My property, I've been so busy cleaning up the property around me for so many years, till now my property is going down. And so now I have to get somebody to help me fix my property up. What do I have to do to pull a permit for me to help somebody do my property?
So what I want to do, and I just went to my mama's birthday party, so it was killing me to say that I got to interrupt you because of the time limits. But I would like to get you in contact with Mr. Reese at the DPW. I'm gonna write down his phone number and I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Now it's to the point where I'm been so busy trying to mow the lawn for the city and do this, that, and the other, till my house is falling apart.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate your input tonight. And
Thank
before you leave here, I'm gonna give you a phone number. Miss Spike White, I see your hand up there. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Again, this is Janet Spite White, and I am so happy after 7.5 long years trying to get a side lot. I done been up here. I done talked to Ken Bates. He been helped. He has tried to help me. That didn't work. My other old council district, I wrote letters. I did everything. I did everything you guys said. I just need to know that this process that you used to have is gone, right? It's gone for good. Please tell me. 7.5 years of not paying taxes for a lot. For all these people that have not paid lot. It's what's wrong with this city. 7.5 long years that you wanted me to live next to a field that you guys never cut. I had to take care of that. And so, you know, I wasn't gonna live like that. So I came up here in 2016.
But you got it, right? You got a lot today.
I got a lot today,
Yes,
say that.
yes.
I got a lot today.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna be sitting in your yard whether you know it or not. Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to say thank you for 66. I've been trying to get that from 2019. My application got lost, but I had my copy.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank you for that. Okay. Huh? I thank you. I told you I left Alabama this morning, drove 13 hours to be here for this meeting because they said I had to be here. I'm here.
Well, can't nobody not show up. If you drove from Alabama to be here,
I came.
you set the bar
I
very
came.
high.
The lady called me
You say
yesterday. I told her I was going to a funeral. I said, but I will be there. When he called me, I said, I'm coming through Toledo right now. Okay, now this is my question. We try to keep our community up looking good. It's a vacant house next to, okay, the one I just purchased is 66, then there's 60. Then there's another lot there. I don't know what that number would be. There's a house there. A company came out and cut all the trees down, all the bushes and stuff down, and they put it in the front of that vacant house. Okay, nobody's picking it up. It's just sitting there. But they did come down, cut down the bushes, the trees and everything, and they got it out there in the front of the house. So how would that get solved?
Give me the address again.
I don't know the address.
Well, where? 52?
52, Elmhurst.
52 Elmhurst. Okay, so I called it out because I know the mayor is writing this stuff down too. 52 Elmhurst is
52, she said.
52, and then when they get there, they're gonna see trees and bushes and shrubs stacked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they cut it down because it was a jungle.
Okay.
You could
Then
barely see the house.
The most
You
important
could
thing
see
that,
it now.
yeah, the most important thing that you've done, ma'am, is coming here and let us all know. That's the most important thing. Once everybody here knows, no one's gonna get up off of that. So I appreciate you for doing that. And you would have to, I would encourage you to follow up with the mayor.
And thank you for my lot. I won't get no more
Yes,
tickets.
yes, ma'am. As Ms.
Thank
Manica said, you got a lot today.
Came a long way to be.
All right, hello again.
Hello.
Lucy Fry
How
at
you
44 Highland. She did remind me, a man bought that apartment building and he cut all the shrubs down, and it's been across the street on the side of my lots for a long time now, at least 3 months. And I've asked him to move it. So, and I know a ticket wouldn't do him any justice, but he needs to get all of that shrubbery up.
Have you talked to Mr. Malone? Have you talked to Mr. Malone to help support you with that attempt?
Yes, I've talked to the guys on the lawnmowers.
I mean, Mr. Malone, code
Yes,
enforcement.
yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes. And also, when you I think when they're asking for these lots, you need to keep in mind, being that that man said they paid $63,000 a month for water runoff. That is something to keep in mind when you're voting on those lots. And the people like the ones been there since 1979, that was the automatic. What they're gonna do with it, they're gonna maintain it. And I think when they're asking for the purchases of the lot, the people in the office should give them some suggestions on what they can say that they're using the lots for. They're gonna keep it up, maybe they're gonna sell flowers, they're gonna grow flowers, maybe they're gonna sell flowers. I don't know, but I think there's some suggestions that could be made. Either way, it could be, it's a business investment at the end of the day. I was reading in the state government, I get these newsletters. There's a big grant out right now. I don't know who do the grant writing, that the state is giving to municipalities, like $21 million for the residents to repair their properties. And there's a cap to it, I think on July 26th, that is up. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And what's going on Woodward?
So
Messed up.
In this part of Highland Park, I mean.
that would be something that you could probably ask the mayor about what's going
Ms.
on.
Mayor, what's going on Woodward?
And I'm letting, so far, everybody's been, you ain't heard the beeps. Everybody's been over 2 minutes. I want to try and keep it
I
to
haven't
2
been over
minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am, you have.
Well, what's going on Woodward?
I have no idea, ma'am. You'd have to ask the mayor or someone from DPW, or you have to
Ms.
ask the state of,
Ms. Fry? Please,
yes.
talk to the engineers that's sitting over in the corner. At the end of the thing, they will be able to tell you what's happening on Woodward.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take it. Make sure it's big.
Okay, repayment job, everyone. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm not gonna be a stickler. I'll go 2.5. I'll go over because we've been going over. I know, ma'am. I know. Please, floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, council members, residents, administration heads, mayor. I'm up here tonight to talk about the trash situation that's going on Stevens Street. Initially, when I moved in back in 2021, I'm talking about the area between John R. and Brush. The back of my residence looked like it was a dumping area. I called back in 2021, 2022, complaining, called DPW. At the time, they were going through some transition changes. Okay. Anyway, I ended up paying for it out of my pocket to have somebody help me get all of that trash. And this was like accumulation of years worth of dumping back there, but I finally got it cleaned out. However, when DTE came through and did the tree trimming, they put a bunch of trees and shrubs and other things. Other people have come along since then and dumped down the alley on Stevens. Like I said, it's behind in that alley right between what is that? 6 Mile? Is that East 6 Mile? I think it's East 6 Mile, Stevens, like John R. Yeah. So that alley that's right there. I alerted DPW. They came back in February 2023, and they cleaned part of it. They pulled some stuff, but he told me that they were going to have to come back and get to the trees and everything. So I just want to point that out to somebody tonight that it's still there and it's gotten worse. So if anybody can, or do I need to call DPW again and tell them again that situation's gotten even more so,
Okay.
out of hand.
I wrote it down and I'll try to reach out to Mr. Reese. I'm sure the mayor.
Okay, and one last thing to address, you're talking about minor home repairs. Focus Hope right now has a grant monies for seniors in the Highland Park, Detroit area to do minor home repairs. If you call Focus Hope and you ask them about the program, it's a little short application and you just fill it out, but they have the monies. Okay, so you wouldn't have to worry about, like as far as they think they take care of the permits and all that.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Okay.
Good evening, council. I'm here to just say a few words to council from the Highland Park Water Advocates. We met today at 2 p.m. And Mike McFall joined us to advise us on some of our planned activities. First, so I was asked to, fill you guys in on our meeting today. First, we are concerned that on June 6th, Judge Edward Joseph ordered the reinstatement of the $20 million judgment against our city in spite of the agreement that there would be a stay until October if Highland Park paid the $1 million that the 5 of you approved about a month ago.
For approval.
Essentially, we understand that he has ruled that Gleewood does not have to keep their end of this bargain that was made last month. That's just to note. We are also concerned that Michigan has received $1 billion in federal infrastructure funding, and none of that money has been allocated to Highland Park. It's something that we're going to have to look into. And in light of the state of our water plant, this is pretty troubling. So what we're up to right now is that On June 28th, members of the Highland Park Water Advocates attended the GLEWA board meeting online. During the public comment period, several of our members spoke to the GLEWA board about our perspective on the water judgment and related circumstances. The GLEWA board chairman, Freeman Alexander, agreed to come to Highland Park. Sorry. Thank you, Freeman Hendricks. He agreed to come to Highland Park before the end of July and hold a town hall meeting. So today, the Highland Park Water Advocates extended a written invitation to him and for him to schedule that promised meeting. So we will be in touch when we hear from him about the time and place.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
One more, sorry. Am I out of my 2 minutes?
Yes.
Come on, hurry up.
Okay, can I have somebody else's 2 minutes?
No, it's not Congress. I can't yield the floor to the councilperson from Virginia. I can't do that. I can't give you their time.
Okay, well, I have actually pretty important thing to say.
I understand that. So if you could, I got everybody else.
So we've been working on, Mike McFall was there to advise us.
Keep it under 30 seconds. I would really appreciate it because there's somebody who's also been waiting too.
Okay. So as I was saying, we've been working on traveling sorry, I'm not very good doing this under pressure and under scrutiny, and I'm just gonna let somebody else read it.
Okay, thank you so much. The gentleman that was waiting, ma'am, please come on, please. You stood up, but sir, your opportunity to get to the podium is when you get up and say, I want to come to the podium. No, that's how it's throw your hand up around here, okay? So ma'am, thank you so much for being patient with me. Let me give you your time.
Okay, my name is Tammy Stafford, resident of Highland Park. And I wanted to ask you a question. I'm not sure what your name is.
It's Kershie.
Okay, did you used to live on McLean Street?
I did.
Okay, I wanted to ask you a question about that home that you used to live in. Do you know who owns the home? Because now the grass is like high in the front and the back.
Okay, so when I lost the property, it went to a holding company.
Okay.
And I guess they lost it due to taxes, but at the moment, because I've been looking into it, it's in limbo. You know what I'm saying? It's in between being owned by the county and still being owned by a holding company that had it. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've been checking on it, but yeah, it's still in limbo.
And another question, this company NACA that's right next to the Marathon building, do you know what is that for? Because I hear a lot of seniors looking at the building and they don't know what that business is for.
What, on Hamilton?
Woodward.
On Woodward. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm not for sure what that business is for. I'm gonna tell you no lie.
It's
I'm
for
not for
home
sure.
ownership.
Home
ownership. Okay. And another question, is the chief here? Hi. I have a quick question for you. The day before the meeting, the day before the 4th of July, for city council,
July the 3rd.
Yes, Mr. Holly, is that your name?
No, my name is not. My name is Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, you had stated in that meeting that fireworks were illegal in the city of Highland Park.
I made a general statement. Projectile fireworks, there's some legalities about those in our state.
Okay, so now I want to turn to the chief. Okay, I had called on July the 4th, the police station, and I was inquiring that there were sounds like it was a cannon or explosion, you know, those type of fireworks. So I was telling them what this gentleman said about, illegal, blah, blah, blah. So they were saying, they talked to their boss. I don't know who that was that night I called, but they said that it was an ordinance. There is an ordinance in place that you can't do any fireworks after 11:45 p.m. So what I asked that person on the phone was, why doesn't the city council know that?
There's a lot that we don't know, to be honest with you. There's a lot that I don't know.
Well,
I'll be the first to tell you that.
And then, just like he's saying, I asked them, who's going to inform them?
Well, thank you for pointing that out to me. I actually looked in the paper in the state of Michigan at midnight on the 4th of July. That's when the deadline for setting off fireworks is. There's also been proposed changes to the law as it relates to fireworks in the state of Michigan. This is a moving target. I don't know about all of the municipal laws around all of Metro Detroit, but I've heard over the years, different communities in Wayne County being more stringent on what fireworks can and cannot be used. I do recall hearing that certain projectile fireworks or fireworks over a certain quantity of gunpowder were no longer legal in the state. But like I said at the beginning, there's a whole lot I don't know.
Okay, and I'm saying this because there is a new homeowner,
And
like,
you're over your 2 minutes, but I'm gonna let you finish this point.
okay, kitty corner from me, and this is towards Tamika as well. Remember you were saying that, when you have houses, they should be registered if you're renting?
Yes.
Well, I don't know, this house used to be called the Vision House.
I remember that.
Okay, he
Mhm.
has two on that block,
Mhm.
but he doesn't have one of them anymore that's adjacent to my house. Somebody else bought it in his family. Okay, she's now
Is that the one that's
renting.
right off the corner?
No, not that one.
Okay,
The one
the
that's
other
in the middle of the block, right? Because I live
And I
adjacent.
want to have you, and I hate interrupting people, but we have these rules here. So
Well,
just,
do you know if it's registered as renters?
we don't, and you know who might know that? The real estate department or CED. So if you have the address, I would ask to come to the window. That you're a citizen, you live there, that's a reasonable question to ask. Is this house registered as a rental? That's a fair question.
Oh, and ma'am, and for the record, I do know about that ordinance. I was sitting there where she's sitting
Yeah.
with Rodney Patrick and then passed it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
You welcome.
Sir, you've been patient. You took some slings and some arrows tonight. You had some properties on the list that you were trying, and your name is, sir?
Matthew Lopez.
And Matthew Lopez. So Mr. Lopez, you were the person on the application to purchase those properties?
I'm the representative for, my father's not in the state of Michigan, so.
The representative for, is there a company or LLC? What is it?
It's under an LLC currently, and the owner is my father.
Okay, so yes, sir. So you have an opportunity now during this time frame to share with the city council anything that you wanted to related to your properties. Those items were tabled.
Yeah.
And so there's an opportunity for you to.
Right.
I'd like to clarify some things. We're not.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Your items weren't tabled. They died on the
They
floor.
died on the floor,
They died
yeah.
on the floor.
I'd like to clarify some things. We're not a nonprofit.
Okay.
What we do is we acquire properties that are in need of rehab, and we put them on the market for low-income rentals. Currently, we are looking just to get adjacent lots to the properties we're trying to rent out in order to fence them and create a secure environment for our renters. We've been doing this since 2017. We've paid multiple times with different applications that have been lost. We have now just done another round of them last year / this year. This is also the third, I would say, batch of rentals. Let's say total of applications, probably 20 applications that we've had that haven't had any responses to, and no refunds of the, let's say, purported money to have those applications reviewed. In regards to the Avalon property, we do not use that property. Adjacent to us, that's being used by Avalon Village without anyone's consent. We are trying to acquire that to create another fenced off area for that property in order for us to create that duplex back to a rental, a low income rental property, which is actually a 2-family property.
So how long have you owned 40 Candler?
Since 2017.
2017. So when is that going to be available to be rented? Because
It has been rented before. The 2 lots next to it actually are so atrocious that the city has cut down the jungle that used to be there twice. And we try to maintain the lot next to it, but it's voracious, and without ownership, it's a huge burden on us to come and clear it out every single time. But we have had it rented in the past.
Floor is open.
Avalon.
Yes.
Okay, so you own 51, right?
51 and 53.
Okay, right, the duplex, right?
The duplex.
Okay, and you're looking to get the lot that's being used by somebody that you didn't authorize to use it.
Avalon Village.
Okay. When is that duplex going to be finished and fixed?
Well, we have actually started work on it. We haven't completed work on it.
Okay.
Mainly because We don't know what's happening with that street. There's a lot of different things happening there.
Okay.
So we're waiting to see if we can acquire that lot next to it in order to create the fence and feel secure in our investment in that property.
Okay, yeah, because Avalon has become quite a little area to live in now. It's been improved dramatically, and I do believe that the property value over there has gone up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if we could get that going, I tell you, that would be lovely if that house could be finished.
Yeah, I mean, we've been ignored by the city, unfortunately, for most of the stuff that we've been petitioning for. So we've been going in order for what suits us best. And at this point, we are looking to finish Avalon.
Okay.
But, at this point, we haven't gotten any help. So it's kind of fallen later on our list at this point. So we would love to finish it. Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. You're over your 2 minutes, but I do thank you for answering the questions for our colleagues. Your items died on the floor. They may come back at some point, depending on what the administration provides us in an agenda.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Council President. Council President. Is
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hinton still there?
He is.
Okay, I want to have him have a conversation because we just got those properties. He's clearing out what has went on for the last, I don't know how many years, since 17. And so if they've had properties that they've asked for over and over and over again and have not had any response, it was not from this administration. We're trying to clear them up. So hopefully they can get, we can get through this so that he can develop and continue the process on Avalon.
Now, so they're together, so they're probably gonna have a chance to discuss it offline. Do we have any other citizens? Mr. Wells, come on. You up, man. Come on, you up.
Council President, you have one online.
Okay.
I got 3 things I want to ask.
Okay, and I'm
Go ahead.
gonna
What you gotta say?
I'm gonna hit you with 2. I got people online.
Try
too,
to be
so go
fast.
for it.
Try to be fast. All right.
Huh?
We cool. I'm trying to be fast. Tell me where to go.
You go for it. Go for
All
it.
right. 1, I have property that I've been trying to talk to Mr. Hinton for a while since March. I gave him everything he needed that you guys required, and I still don't see the property on the agenda. That's 1. 2, don't flip out.
I'm not. You in your lane. You good.
I hate to bring this up. Everybody knows that I come here to these meetings, but we got a problem. The 20th is almost here. That money I gave, that $5,000, you guys said in your ordinance and your people say you'll have an answer for me by the 20th.
We
That's
have
3 days.
litigation that's pending on the 19th.
Huh?
We have litigation that's going on. We don't go back to court until the 19th, so I can't talk about it.
I got you. I'm just trying to get the property. Once I get my property, I won't even bother you guys. You guys go ahead and take your time. 3rd, I was asking a question. I want to ask this question about this demolition thing you guys got going on here in the city. Is it possible to have other options for a demolition team to come into the city that might save the city some money?
That would be a question that would happen with the city administration, with the mayor's office. City council has nothing at all to do with bidding and or the selection of vendors. We only approve contracts.
I just want to know is that an option? Can't
we can't answer
give
that
that option to you, the city council to?
We can't answer that
take
question.
into
It's not in our charter.
consideration?
We can't, none of us can answer that question legally.
Because I got a development team who's asking me questions. I have
None of
all.
us can answer that question legally.
You cannot answer that
No,
question?
it's not in our purview at all.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. All right, I see more people. Anybody who's already spoken now, we do doubling down. All right. Good evening, Miss Gracie.
Good evening. My name is Gracie Wooten. I live at 249 Eastern Street in Highland Park. I just have 2 quick things to say. One is I want to just sort of finish up what Lisa was talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Would you please?
Because that was very important. We are a committee, the Highland Park we're let's see, which organization am I in? The Highland Park Water Advocates. And what we're trying to do is support the city in its effort, and our effort in order to avoid these foreclosures on our home. So as Lisa said, we were able to get the GLEWA to commit to coming to Detroit, coming to Highland Park, which is very important, to us, so that we can ask them questions like, why are they bogarting us, right? And the other thing is that, we're planning a demonstration. We're planning a demonstration October the 12th. We have people who committed, to give us a bus, one of the nonprofit organizations, the People's Water Board, they're going to give us a bus. Plus, we've had some contributions in order for us to actually secure another bus. So we want residents to get on board with this, to go to Lansing and let our voices be heard. So we have donation petitions that we want to give to anybody who would want to make a financial contribution. One of our great citizens, Ms. Johnson, she's acting as a fiduciary for us, and we just want everyone to come out. If people want to sign up today to get on a bus, we need the support. This is all of our fight. We need the support of the total community. This is so important, so, I just wanted to finish up. That's why Lisa was so upset, because she just wanted a chance to say how we are supporting you and ourselves. Okay, so the other thing, my 2 minutes aren't up yet.
Yeah, they are.
The other thing I wanted to ask or say was that
2 minutes and 30 seconds. I've been giving everybody the same grace. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Come on, Ms. Grace.
The other thing, this is personal in terms of the Highland Parks Block Club, the Easton Block Club. We have asked the former city council, for a street light, right? The corner of Easton and Hamilton is really dark. Children in the morning, are at risk because it's so dark. If you turn onto, I want you to try it. Turn on to Easton Street from Hamilton at night. People have run into that island because it is just dark. And I did ask the former council for help. We need a light. We need a street light there.
We have council members have, and thank you very much. I did see you on that call. I was on that same call. I did see you were on that call too. And members of council for the various districts have funds set aside. I don't know what they were going to do with their funds. I can't make suggestions for them, but that might be something you could probably talk to your district council person. And then two, let Lisa know, I have time, Lisa, and she's gone 8 minutes.
Well, like
I'm
we
just
have
saying.
but we have to be sensitive to people who may have some kind of disability, and it's very difficult for some people to speak publicly.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I do. I thank you for that. Too.
And Mike McFall was able to come to our meeting this afternoon and talk to us about what they, have found out, and given us some suggestions as to what we can do to sort of push this issue along. The other thing I forgot to mention, I know I'm over the 2 minutes, but this is important to you. It's important to the whole community, right? Now, the other thing, he mentioned is letter writing. And that was one of the things we have been doing in the past, is writing letters to the governor. And we are writing a letter to all of the representatives, and we're going to blast them. When we go to Lansing, we're not only going to rally, we're going to do a lobby day with everybody, all the legislators that we can. So, we need people to sign up with us for that bus. We need people to contribute, to help us with the box lunches that we need. Okay, so I'll stop now.
Okay,
But,
thank you so
very
much. Thank you so much. Okay, so where we at here? Okay, last two people here. Okay, Mr. McGee.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I'm hoping to give a testimony the way that Janet Spike White did about mine a lot, because I've been trying to buy this lot since 2016. I couldn't find my 2016 receipt, but I did find my 2018. Everything is good, so the ball's in the city's court. Now, I invite anybody to come down Beresford Street between Woodward and John R. to see how well that lot looks. I guarantee that lot looks better than a lot of people's grass. I'm talking about the front grass. So that's how well I take care of it. And is Chief Hollowell here?
Fire chief, no.
No fire chief, okay. All right, because my next question was, I'm having a hard time getting a date to, I formed a block club on my block. I combined Beresford and Wyona. And we had our first meeting at my house about 3 weeks ago. I was hoping our next meeting could be in the fire station, the conference room there. And I have called him several times, no return calls, and emailed him once. None. Or we can have it on at your building? All right, I'll come over there and make a date.
All right.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Price, you closing us out tonight?
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing? Hi,
Good, how are
everybody.
you?
How's council? How people of Highland Park? My name is Mark Ashley Price. I just became the new treasurer of the school board last week. Anthony Askew again became president. Miss White became the VP again of the school board. Miss Linda Wheeler became secretary of the school board last week. The reason why I just came up here because I wasn't gonna come up here at first, but the council, I'm asking a respectable way. Does the city council get any training? Because the council president did say that y'all don't know nothing. That's what the council president.
I said,
No.
I can only speak for myself.
You said,
I said,
what?
there's a lot that I don't know. That was my exact words were, there's a lot.
Okay, what, this, my question is, no, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was what I thought, I didn't mean no disrespect.
Oh, no problem.
Well, then my question is to you, Council President, do you get any training or?
Well, the question was about fireworks. So
Okay.
I made a general statement about fireworks.
Okay.
And it's within my personality trait, if I don't know something to say, I don't know that. So that's
Okay.
something that it doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
So as far as training goes, no, we don't. No one at this up on this dais has received any training that I'm aware of related to city council functions outside of the MML meetings. You could poll the individual members. Maybe some of them have had some additional training, but we arrived here with the professional and educational training that we had prior to becoming city council people. It's my understanding that this group has had one collective class with MML.
Okay. The reason why I asked that question though, because I didn't mean no disrespect,
Oh, no,
but I want because you said that out in public like that, I wanted to give you an opportunity, like what did you mean by that?
Absolutely.
So that's why I didn't mean no disrespect or no anything.
No problem. I got lots and
Yeah.
lots of training, 10
Yeah.
years of college, but
Yeah.
this is my first 6 months as a city council person. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, I want what you just said. I want the public to know that because not everybody knows that about you.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
All right,
that's
thank
why.
you so
Yeah,
much,
Thank
sir.
you, Council.
One thing, I've got to thank you back. I want to thank our police chief. Did you guys see him on Channel 7 this week?
I did.
Oh, that was
I
excellent.
did.
You made us look
Okay.
so good. I was so proud.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure.
And so was I. We got that one person that's online, Mr. Lackey, still?
It's now 2.
Okay, so we're gonna take these last 2 comments online and then we're gonna move into council affairs. Who we gonna go with first? Mr. Tucker or Frankie?
It looks like Frankie doesn't have any audio, so it's gonna be Mr. Tucker.
Tucker, if you would, you get the last 2 minutes here. Make sure your audio is up.
Anthony Tucker. Okay, well, looks like maybe not.
Okay, so we're gonna move into council. Thank you so much for all your comments. We're gonna move into council affairs, starting with Mr. El Shafi.
Ladies and gentlemen, I greatly appreciate the fact that we had an opportunity to help some of you out tonight to get your lots. I'm very happy for that. There's nothing means more to me than Highland Park residents benefiting in the city in which they live in. Having said that, I am a little bit concerned and a little bit peeved about the fact that this agenda was solely just lots. As much turmoil as we're going through in this city, as much work as we need to have done, to just have lots on an agenda was somewhat of a waste to me. I'm sorry. It was, because we have a lot that need to be done. We just entered into a new physical budget on the 1st of July. And we have a number of things that should have came before us. A number of things such as the agreement between us and Wayne County, which has yet to come back yet. The fact that our police officers are occupying a building that they haven't got permission from council yet. The fact that we have contracts that need to be renegotiated for the new fiscal financial year, which started January 1st, that has not come before us. No CED, no city attorney, no contracts of any kind. So all of these people are just running on old contracts that have expired from the last fiscal year. This is a new year. Those contracts must be renegotiated. Okay, so it's so much that needs to be done on top of the fact that we have our water woes and we have people trying to run around this charter and be slick about their applications and the land in which they try to buy. Okay, I understand that if you buy two, you don't need to submit a development plan. Okay. But then we have three that spread out all over the city that should have come with a development plan. So it's just everything that is going on. We have enough problems already without people trying to be clever and slick and think that we're stupid. Okay. Don't insult our intelligence. This is HP, baby. We don't take that lightly.
That's right.
Okay. So having said that, I want everybody to know that we will stay on guard. We will be rough and tough, and we will do everything that is necessary to ensure that Highland Park gets what it has coming and what it deserves to have. Nobody will come here and snatch the rug out from under our feet and then tell us it's our fault. I don't think so. HP strong, and I'm here with you. I love you, HP. Take care.
Councilwoman Martin.
You guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. So my apologies, I'm not really going real quick right now, I'm getting hot. So I'm just gonna keep this brief and short. I'm gonna say congratulations to those who got your lots. I'm very happy that we're able to move forward with that. On that note, thank you for those of you who also come out today. I also want to address that we will have a town hall meeting that's gonna be coming up at the end of July. Next thing I want to bring up is District 2, Precinct 4. We're going to be doing cleanup. There will be more information about that. Right now, that's all that we covered at this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I want to make a motion that we do another training together.
All right.
That would be nice. Everybody here as a body.
Second.
Support that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think we should do that as a group. Another training and on that.
Thank you, Ms. Manica.
Good evening, everyone. To respond to you, yes, we did MML, and also I did some additional. So it's an opportunity for all of us to go online and do additional if you want, or we can do it as a group, as Ms. Martin just asked. But that's how, other than the other stuff that I learned, so that's how I've been doing it. I'm going to different conferences, etc. I'm kind of like her at a loss right now. The NACA, I did look that up myself. It's an organization, nonprofit, that's supposed to help residents or people in this area, urban areas, to gain home ownership without the same hassles that you normally get from certain banks, but they have a specific bank that they normally work with. And it's where you can have no down payment, et cetera, et cetera. You can look them up online. So that's that. You can look them up online, Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. So they're in several other states as well. I'm not sure how productive, but Highland Park needed to know that they're here. So I'm glad you asked about it. McLean Block Club is having a shop till you drop. Is that correct? Is McLean here? They're having a shop till you drop, July 29th, 10 to 4 p.m., starting at $1. So that means it's like a yard sale, huge, okay? Faith Tabernacle and Wayne Metro is putting together Customer Assistance Day, July 22nd, from 9 to 2, again, for water assistance, or if you need help filling out other applications, such as Sarah, which is with Department of Health and Human Services, My Half, Hope, My Hope, all those things. And a young lady who mentioned Focus Hope, thank you. So she already gave that information. I don't have to give it. That's pretty much it. Oh, Grand the area from Davidson on. I think there are still some more dumpsters. They're still doing a cleanup. They wasn't all due to the rain put out last week. So know that they will be there for assistance for residents to be mindful of what you want to put in there. Let me say that, okay? So it may be, if it is some grass or some debris or either some large items in your home, not mattresses though. So there are some things you can't put in there, and tires, okay? So keep that in mind. As far as the garbage, you must tie up. I know yours was, but just for those who don't know, branches, you must tie them up for them to get them. You must tie them up, as well as the mayor said, put something around the mattress. And it also helps, if you can, if you can't, to be outside when it comes. I know we work, but be outside and be helpful and help. Or if you had that lot and you put those trees over there, it might be helpful if you be outside and say, hey, I put them trees over there. I'll help you. I can't pick up the big ones, but if I pick up the little ones, you pick up the big ones. Okay, guys, you have a great evening. Thank you for coming as usual and giving us your feedback.
Thank you. Madam Pro Tem?
First, I wanted to acknowledge my pastor, as always, my sister Joyce today. I wanted to let you know I love y'all, Highland Park, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I appreciate you coming and showing up. Just keep coming, because we need your help. I wanted to thank our police chief for handling the situation that's ongoing, and he's going to take care of that. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Damon Garrett for always answering my questions, because I get 1,000 phone calls a day, and I can have some information to give some people. I love y'all, Highland Park, and God bless y'all.
See if I can try and answer the questions that were asked of me. Mr. Price, the first time I became president of an organization, I was 23. It was Robert's Rule, parliamentary procedure, and there was a lot that I didn't know. So right when I took office here in January, the one thing that I knew I wanted to have was a referee or an expert at Robert's Rule. Not because of what I knew, but because I knew it was a lot that I didn't know. So yes, there will continue to be procedural errors during city council, because we do not have a representative from the National Association of Parliamentarians providing us support. That was my first act as city council president, and it was voted down. And we've been able to see the impact of that. It doesn't matter that I have extensive college education. This is a process that you can only get good at with practice. So I will continue to practice. I will continue to do my homework before I get here, and hopefully I'll continue to get better at that. Okay. America has some of the best private property laws in the world. That's what makes America special. I'm bringing that up because Bob is gone. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. You guys remember Bob Goss that came here, right? Robert Goss, former executive at Ford Motor. I'm sorry, you guys only knew him as Bob the mechanic. Bob Goss, former executive at Ford Motor Company, who took his suit off and bought a tire shop. And for the last 7 years of the 12 years that he was in this city, he was maintaining lots that were behind his property. He sold his business this week. Okay. American private property laws are unique. Big developers never tell us what they're going to do with their property. They buy it. They own it first. We have a big, gigantic, successful property on Hamilton, and we still don't know who the tenant is going to be. But that place is banging. I'm saying this because I want the people in Highland Park, as much as our community is struggling, we got to curb our enthusiasm a little bit. This is our giant lump of gold. And some people see it as a lump of coal. We have to balance that, and we have to make sure that we don't create a framework here where we chase people away to come and invest in our community. I don't have to tell you how much I love this city because I'm investing in the city. There are people that don't tell you how much they love this city, but you drive down their street, drive down Tyler, drive down Pilgrim, drive down Brush and some of these side streets where you know there's no development, and there's one guy and one woman that are cutting the grass and sweeping the curb. We have to consider those people as we move forward when we decide how we're going to dispose of the land that the city has owned, that most of the people who have lived here have put in sweat equity when we didn't have the resources. There are 50, 100 people in this city that are cutting grass every week that doesn't belong to them, that are picking up trash, that are moving debris. They will never come in here and tell you how much they love the city, but they're showing you. So I think we need to consider the fact that if we don't create the right framework, more people who are here, who are investing their money, might decide to leave because they don't feel appreciated. The Highland Park is a bell curve. There's some people, this is the last place they could be. There are other people that could leave tomorrow and wouldn't be hurt. We need to try and preserve our community in a way that appreciates the people who are contributing, who want to be here. I just want to say that when we discuss when the auction comes, thank the Lord, because there are a lot of people who have lived here, who have worked here for years, and they want to buy a piece of the city so that they can make it look better. They don't want to speculate. These are people who legitimately want to buy a lot to make the city look better. So I just want to make sure that we balance that. I had a conversation with the water department this week. We also want to encourage citizens that if you have not removed your downspout from going into the ground, there was a program a while ago about separating the downspout from the entrance into the ground near your property to reduce the amount of water that went into the wastewater system. You can get credits on your water bill for stormwater runoff if you put a rainwater catchment system. That's a rain barrel. You can use that later on for your garden. So I want people to be able to take advantage of some of those credits. And the last thing that I want to talk to you about tonight is winter cold will never be 3. Winter cold will never be 3 years old. I'm gonna say that again. Winter cold will never be 3 years old. We lost this baby because of a monster. Somebody stole her life. Somebody beat and strangled her mother and then strangled her to death. We have a problem in our community with mental health. And we know people who need help. Whoever that person, I'm not even going to say his name, whoever he was, there were people in his family and his immediate circle of people who knew he wasn't wrapped too tight. And they might have let that go. We got to stop doing that. Men need to stand up and be men again. These people need to be afraid of abusing our women and children. They need not be so comfortable with the idea of slapping a woman in the face. Families need to bond together. You know, if there's somebody in your family circle and your cousin's relationship ain't right. Nobody's asking you to run in like a hero, but you need to say something. There are resources that are out there, and we need to discuss this more than what's happening on social media or what's on some reality TV show. We need to talk about this at our family reunions. We need to talk to our sons and daughters about what's acceptable behavior in relationships, because that started a long time ago. So please, winter cold is never going to be 3. She's never going to be 3. Well, one of us may be able to talk to someone, some young man, some young woman, some young couple, talk to them about their anger management issues, talk about them about the appropriate way to communicate. We don't have good conflict resolution skills. All of us have some form of PTSD living in America, but if we don't talk about it, nothing is going to happen. I pray for her family, and I hope that we have no more stories like this. Or the poor woman that was beaten, strangled just up here at Woodward and 6 Mile. We got a problem, y'all, and we can't ignore it, whether it's happening in your family or not, whether you're the family of the person being abused or the abuser. This is a conversation that we cannot avoid having. Having concluded all business for the city of Highland Park, the chair is willing to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Ms. Manica always do it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
They waiting on me, okay. All
Mr.
right.
President, you're absolutely right, but we need to have more workshops also.
Right.
We have to have more workshops.
I don't come up to your job. What did the comedian say? I don't come up to your job.